Right now at noon, crews continue their search for a missing boater after a sailboat flips over on Lake Monona. Plus, former President Biden reveals he's fighting an aggressive form of prostate cancer. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Breiter. Right now, the search for a missing boater on Lake Monona continues this afternoon. The State Journal reports the Dane County Sheriff's Office stopped the search around 7 o'clock last night. It follows an incident Friday night when a sailboat overturned in the middle of the lake. 4 people were on board. One person stayed with the boat and made it safely to shore. The other 3 stayed with the kayak. 2 of those individuals were rescued. The third was not wearing a life jacket and is still missing. Former President Biden revealed this weekend he's battling cancer. Biden's personal office revealed a statement and released that on Sunday, saying the 82-year-old was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has spread to the bone. Doctors evaluated Mr. Biden following the discovery of a small nodule in his prostate. Support is pouring in across party lines for the former president. President Trump, in a post, says he extends his best wishes to the Biden family and wishes him a fast and successful recovery. Meanwhile, former President Obama said in a statement, quote, "Nobody has done more to find breakthrough treatments for cancer in all its forms than Joe," end quote. And Biden's former vice president, Kamala Harris, calls him a fighter. Well, much cooler outside today. First Warn meteorologist Jacob Montesano is on our weather patio here in Madison with the certified most accurate forecasts, and not feeling very summer-like anymore out there.
Yeah, definitely not a lot cooler compared to last week. Kind of second-guessing my decision to not bring a jacket. I kind of just forced myself not to because I didn't really want to, but maybe I should have. Overall, though, it's definitely could be cooler, but certainly a lot cooler than last week. Upper 40s, lower 50s right now. A big reason for these cooler temperatures is we're seeing some strong easterly winds bringing in all that cool air that has been impacting places closer to Lake Michigan, and now it's kind of spreading across all of southern Wisconsin. Sustained winds up around 10 to 15 miles per hour, so definitely a little bit breezy, and that is expected to continue throughout the day. Now, as we take a look at the current radar, we are seeing some light showers trying to make their way into Wisconsin, but most of them are dissipating as they get closer, and that's going to be the case throughout much of the day. We're not expecting a lot of rain, but some light sprinkles are still possible. However, we're going to see a lot more rain once we get towards the overnight hours and into Tuesday, where we actually have an alert day now, not for severe weather, but for consistent heavy rain and also strong winds on top of the rainfall. It also will be even cooler than what it is right now. This is for all of southern Wisconsin, starting Tuesday and continuing into Tuesday night. But before that happens, for the rest of today, although it will be chilly, we are going to be dry with partly to mostly cloudy skies, highs only near 60 at best. So definitely a chillier day, but it's going to get even cooler for tomorrow on top of that rain. So I'll talk through all the details on your very muggy Tuesday forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Jacob, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you. Well, starting today in Fitchburg, crews are closing up to 2 northbound lanes on Fish Hatchery Road to work on a water main. The closure runs from Traceway Drive to High Ridge Trail. Officials say traffic will still get through, but they're asking drivers to take another route if possible. They expect to finish construction by June 15th. Still ahead for us this afternoon. If you have a question or concern about your plants or garden, now's the time to send us your questions via email to tips@channel3000.com. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company will join us later in the broadcast with the answers. Again, that is tips@channel3000.com. But first at noon, who came out on top of the weekend box office, plus how the House GOP's budget package is one step closer to getting a full vote.
The House GOP's budget package is one step closer to getting a full vote ahead of the party's self-imposed Memorial Day deadline. The bill advanced out of the Budget Committee late last night in a narrow 17-16 vote after 4 conservative holdouts voted present. The bill pushes President Trump's agenda of making his 2017 tax cuts permanent, partially offset by cuts to domestic programs like Medicaid, food stamps, and clean energy subsidies. Some conservatives argue the bill doesn't do enough to cut spending. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he hopes to bring the bill to the floor for a final vote by Thursday. New Jersey Transit and the Train Engineers Union have reached a tentative deal to end their 3-day strike. More details on the agreement are expected to be released soon, though union leaders say New Jersey Transit did boost wages enough to help with recruitment and retention. The strike had disrupted service for around 100,000 daily riders Friday morning. The union says regular service will resume on Tuesday. And Final Destination Bloodlines had a killer weekend, topping the domestic box office with an estimated $51 million. Marvel's Thunderbolts dropped to the second spot with more than $16 million. Sinners rounded out the top 3 with more than $15 million. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the stock report at the noon hour. The Dow is up 128 points. NASDAQ is down 28, and the S&P 500 also down this hour 8 points. Our Call for Action volunteers are in the building, taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. Call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. We have today's farm numbers ahead, along with the first warn forecast, and later on live at 4, how the back and forth of the president's tariffs are impacting Wisconsin farmers. Due to some technical issues here at the station, we're unable to talk live with Pam Yankee at the moment. However, we were able to catch up with her earlier for the latest farm news.
I'll tell you, Allison Dairyland went off without any issues down in Prairie du Chien. Take a look at the crowd at the beautiful Dousman House on Saturday evening in Prairie du Chien. That was the site for the finale banquet, the final candidate presentations in front of an audience of more than 250 folks that came in. Remember, that's the first time Crawford County's had the opportunity to host the event. Beforehand, some of the former Alice's got a chance to gather together. Not exactly the full complement, as you might expect, but a very wonderful representation of the women that have spoke up for Wisconsin agriculture in the past. And then she was introduced to the general public. Meet 24-year-old Sarah Hagenow from Poynette, making history of her own on Saturday evening. She is the sister to Ashley Hagenow, who served as our 76th Alice in Dairyland just 2 years ago. That's the first time in history we've had sisters that have held the position. Now, Hagenow is a senior at University of Minnesota, where she'll graduate with a degree in agriculture and food business management. She just wrapped that up. She's also got a minor in international agriculture. She was very involved in 4-H, FFA. She was also a major member of the Gopher Dairy Club, Agriculture Business Club on the U of M campus, and the Minnesota State Senate. So she has had quite a full resume before becoming Alice in Dairyland's next spokesperson. She will begin that job officially starting in June, but like we said, actually should say July, but through the month of June, you'll have our friend Haley Heinzel acting as Alice in Dairyland in the meantime. So like we said, a little transition opportunity for our friend Sarah Hagenow from Poynette to move into the position. She said it's something that she's thought about and wanted to do since she was a young woman. She said she's always looked up to the Alice in Dairylands that she's had a chance to meet, and of course, her sister as well. Congratulations again also to Mom and Dad, Bob and Liz Hagenow from Poynette, Sarah Hagenow, our new Alice in Dairyland. And one other quick reminder as far as events, don't forget, coming up this weekend, we've got the first of our dairy events. Greene County welcomes you down to the Monroe area. Heaven View Dairy is getting ready to host you. Don't forget, we're encouraging you to park at the Walmart in Monroe, take the shuttle bus out, and get ready and enjoy the dairy breakfast on the farm coming up this Saturday. For the Midwest Farm Report on a Monday morning, I'm the fabulous farm babe Pam Yankee.
Thank you, Pam, and here's a look at your current farm numbers. Rain is on the way to southern Wisconsin. First Warn meteorologist Jacob Montesano is tracking it all for us. Hi, Jacob.
Hey Josh, here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. As you mentioned, rain is going to begin especially tomorrow, but it will begin tonight through Wednesday. And during the rainfall, we're going to have gusts up near 40 miles per hour. And we also will continue to see some below normal temperatures going forward, although after tomorrow, they certainly will warm up. Now, as we take a look at the alert day information, it's mainly for Tuesday into Tuesday night, but again, we'll start to see that rain tonight, and it's for heavy rain and strong winds. We're not going to see any severe weather, but the sustained winds will be pretty gusty, and we'll see consistent rainfall, and the rainfall will be heavy at times as well. So here's a look at that rainfall forecast. We're going to be mostly dry for the rest of today. Could see a light shower, maybe a pop-up storm, but that'll be just about it. Closer to sunset, though, we'll start to see some more consistent rain move into southwestern Wisconsin, and then as we get towards the overnight hours, we'll see more rain continue to push into the region. Overnight, we'll especially see rain in southwestern Wisconsin, but closer to sunrise and during the morning Tuesday, that rain will push into the rest of our area, and then we're going to see widespread heavy rain, especially in the late morning through the early afternoon hours. And even as we get towards the afternoon hours and the evening, the rain will be a little bit more broken up, but we're still expecting some scattered showers and still possibly a few isolated thunderstorms. And this forecast will then continue throughout the entire night Tuesday and into Wednesday. So although the heaviest rain will be late morning tomorrow, we're still going to see that rain last into Tuesday night and into Wednesday as well, although it won't be quite as consistent. Still could be heavy at times, and it's still going to last well into the day on Wednesday before finally clearing out by the time we get to Wednesday evening. When it's all said and done, we are going to see at least an inch of rain for just about everybody. You know, some areas may see a little bit less, but we're going to see about 1 to 2 inches total. Now that 3 to 5 inches out in Prairie du Chien, that might be a little bit much, but we're definitely going to see about 1 to 2 inches for everybody. And a lot of the areas definitely need the rainfall, but obviously, you know, we don't want to get too concerned about any flooding risks that may arrive with the sheer amount of rainfall that we are expecting. Now, on top of that, it is going to be windy and cool. It's similar to today. We're going to see those winds coming out of the east, which will bring in all of the cool air that's been impacting areas near the lake and spread it out across southern Wisconsin. Gusts could be up to around 35 to 40 miles per hour, and that's going to continue throughout the entire day Tuesday, calming down a little bit by overnight hours, and then Wednesday, it won't be as windy, but it still will be chilly. Now, the good news is that that's really the only chance of rain this week. We'll be dry to end the week, but obviously, as I mentioned, it's going to be a complete washout tomorrow, and temperatures will be very unseasonably cool. The average high is supposed to be in the lower 70s. We're going to be possibly in the upper 40s tomorrow. And even towards the end of the week, where we will warm up, we're still going to be below normal, possibly getting back up to normal levels by the middle of next week. So overall, pretty much a complete washout for Tuesday. There is some pretty nice days in the forecast, though, especially if you like some of those cooler temperatures. May not see those 80s return for quite a while, but we're going to be probably well into the 60s by the weekend with a good amount of sunshine. Also could see some frost once again, especially Thursday night. With the cloudy skies the next couple of days, despite the daytime highs only being the 40s, the overnight low should be in the middle 40s, so not too concerned about frost during that time period, but we could Thursday night. So very muggy tomorrow. But as you see, although it won't be into the 80s, there's still going to be some pretty nice days in the forecast.
Yeah, I love to hear it, especially as we go into Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday for Memorial Day weekend do look pretty good right now.
All right, Jacob. Thank you. Well, today Howard shows us a trendy way to prepare chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Spatchcock. Maybe you've heard the word or seen it on a menu, but have no idea what it means. Well, it's a cooking term that refers to the way to prepare a chicken that makes it super juicy. Let me show you. Here's a whole bone-in chicken, which, by the way, is the cheapest way to buy it. Okay, first we flip it on its breast, and with a pair of poultry shears, remove the backbone. Now, we flip it back over, press down firmly on the breastbone until you hear a crack, and it lays flat like this. That's called spatchcock. Now, you could ask your butcher to do this for you, but either way, the advantage of doing it like this is that it cooks faster. And if you want to turn it while it's cooking, it's easy to do. At this point, we slather it with some softened butter and sprinkle on a few spices before placing it in the oven. After this roasts for a bit, we slather it with bottled barbecue sauce that we fancied up by adding some peach preserves and chopped onion. When it's done, place it on a cutting board, and let everyone go to town. It's sure a lot easier to serve like this, and the peachy barbecue sauce adds an incredible flavor. To get the recipe for our barbecue spatchcock chicken, simply head over to our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a trendy and juicy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Ooh.
Ahead at noon, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and garden questions. Email them to tips@channel3000.com and we'll get the answers next. Welcome back. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and garden questions. You can email them to tips@channel3000.com. Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
How's it already Memorial Day weekend this weekend?
I don't know, but the weather's been crazy.
It is.
So I will say, if you've planted stuff out, I did, you said you did.
Yep.
If there are things that are tender with the nights in the low to mid 40s, make sure you have a plan to either bring things in the house or cover them up with a row cover or a sheet or an upside down pot to keep that cold weather and the wind off of them.
Yeah, Wisconsin just can't figure it out right now.
Yeah, it's not unusual that we have this kind of weather at this time of year.
Well, this is really pretty here today.
Yeah, so this is just a nice mixed succulent garden. Great for an underwaterer. It's going to like a sunny spot outside, and most of these will do well inside as a houseplant.
Okay.
After the summer is over. Cooler temps, bright sunny spot, let it dry out between waterings.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. We were talking in the break. Overwater, underwater.
This is just as important to me as how much light your space has.
It's important. All right, let's get to the questions today at noon. We're going to start with Deb. Deb wanted clarification on her tree. She sent us a photo. She's had it for about 3 years and it has only grown about 5 feet. Is there anything she can do to help it grow taller?
So she has a weeping something. It looked to me like it's maybe a weeping pussy willow. It's hard to tell with the photo because we didn't get a really close look at the leaves. But it's a dwarf weeping something deciduous. And so what's going to happen is that it's going to send out shoots from the top that are going to go up and then weep, which you could see that from her photo because she's clearly trimming it. It is not a plant that's going to grow much taller. It's probably something that's grafted. And so it's just meant to be a smaller ornamental tree.
Very pretty from the
It
picture.
was very cool looking, yes. It
All
looks
right.
really healthy.
Nancy asks, do you have any tips for getting rid of creeping Charlie? She treated it about a week ago and has seen some areas turn brown on the edges while other areas seem unfazed.
So creeping Charlie is a pretty tenacious weed and it needs multiple treatments. So at least 3. So we treat it in the spring, in the fall, and then in the next spring or fall, spring, fall. The best time to treat it at this time of year is to spray the herbicide on it when it is blooming, and you're going to want to use not an organic herbicide. Those will often only kill the top growth, but not get to the roots. So you're going to have to go with something like Weed Beater Ultra, or I'm blanking.
And I'm no help. There you go, Roundup, yeah.
Roundup. Just when you're using those kinds of chemicals, just be thoughtful about where you're spraying them. Spray them close. Don't let there be overdrift. Don't spray all over the place. Just be thoughtful and targeted.
Don't spray it on a windy day. I've learned that too.
Yes, you want to be targeted when you spray it.
All right, let's get to Mary now. Mary wants to know, is it safe to use Grass Begone with daylilies or peonies?
Yes. So Grass Begone is a grass-specific herbicide. It only will target members of the grass family. So even though a daylily kind of looks like it's got a grassy blade, it is still considered a broadleaf plant and not a grass. So yes, it is safe to use it with daylilies, peonies, roses. I've seen people use it in areas where they have like low evergreens, that it's growing up through the evergreen.
All right.
Follow the package instructions, though.
Some good questions today.
Yeah, they are.
And I know this is a time of year. It's like it was hot last week. It's cold this week. We planted flowers over the weekend, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I know. I did tomatoes on Thursday and put pots over them last night.
Yeah.
So
For the time being,
yep,
we're almost there.
It's a game we're playing with Mother Nature.
We love it here in Wisconsin. All right, Lisa, thank you. Let's go to Jacob now for a final check.
Yeah, we are going to continue to see those cool temperatures for much of this week. Even after that rain clears out, highs will be below normal with overnight lows in the middle to lower 40s for many of the overnight hours this week. So alert day 4 tomorrow, very muggy conditions. Some of that rain will continue into Wednesday, although it won't be as consistent Wednesday. Then dry to end the week, but still below normal.
Thanks for joining us today at noon. We're back with more on Live at 4.
Muggy weather when it's a high of 49.